Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jones.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
All right, Jay, let's go ahead and stay in the NBA, where we got a lot of playoff action to catch up on. Since we last talked, 3 teams were swept. The Heat, Raptors, and Celtics all took care of their business 4-0 to get some rest this week. Meanwhile, both one seeds were caught sleeping in Game 1, but since then the Bucks and Lakers have dominated and look to close out their inferior opponents soon. And then we have some spicy matchups. Rockets Thunder and Clippers Mavs are tied 2-2, and surprisingly enough, the Utah Jazz have shocked everyone with a commanding 3-1 lead over the Denver Nuggets, thanks to some superhuman efforts by Donovan Mitchell. So, Jay, been a whole lot of action overall. So, what stood out to you the most, and how do you see the first round closing out?
Well, first of all, let's just give some credit. Let's give some credit because I was pretty hard on the Milwaukee Bucks last week, who they were an absolute atrocity in Game 1. They've taken care of business in the next 3 games. They're up 3-1. I anticipate they close out that series tomorrow, and I believe I said that next week. I believe I said that was an aberration, and they'd get the series over in 5 games. And also, can we take a moment? Can we get a? I'm not really going to do a moment of silence, but there needs to be a moment of silence for those people who really, really thought that the Portland Trailblazers were going to do the thing and upset the Los Angeles Lakers. You got Charles Barkley out here with the guarantees and just looking all types of foolish. And he's not the only one. There are plenty other folks that really thought this was going to happen after the Blazers got him in Game 1. It is not. And games 2 and 4 were absolute beatdowns. I mean, we were watching this game last night. It got to the point where the only reason we stayed up was to see Jared Dudley get put in the game. Just so we could laugh at Jared Dudley, who disappointed me. Jared Dudley didn't get a shot attempt. He didn't even shoot the ball. He played 6 minutes and 54 seconds, I believe. Didn't shoot the ball once. I was so disappointed. I needed some Jared Dudley shooting. That's enough of Jared Dudley. He'll probably never make the show again. Anyway, the Jazz, that's the one series, Jazz Nuggets, that's the one series I think that has really surprised us.
Yeah.
I've been dead wrong in this series. I did not see Utah having this much firepower. And Donovan Mitchell, he must have heard me at one point a couple weeks ago where I said, I don't know if he makes other people better. Okay, I got 250 bombs for you. So I'm going to be quiet about Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to let it go. Got to give credit to him. He's been absolutely exceptional. I can't even say it. He's been exceptional. He's been absolutely outstanding. Mike Conley has been very good for him as well. But I do have to tell you this. Denver's made it really easy. I mean, the defense, I don't even know if I can't even call it defense what they're playing. I mean, it's just they can't keep the ball in front of them. As soon as Mitchell gets in the lane, it's over because they can't once the screen is set and the initial defender is beat, it is over. Whether it's Mitchell scoring or whether it's him throwing the ball up to Gobert and Gobert dunking the ball, doing his best DeAndre Jordan impersonation. It's just unbelievable. And Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, he's been great too. So you got Mitchell and Clarkson, Conley. Since he come back, Conley's made a big difference. And Denver can score the ball. They can score, but their defense has been absolutely atrocious. And I don't know if it's I can't imagine it is just because Gary Harris hasn't been there. I know he's got a pretty solid reputation defensively. But their defense they have made it so easy. And it has been horrifying to watch because Denver, I mean, they're a 3 seed, and Utah coming in with no Bojan Bogdanovic. I thought that was a major deal. And plus, we've seen Michael Porter be great. So you have all these different indications that would tell you Denver should win this series. I thought they'd win in 6. It ain't gonna happen. They'd have to win it in 7 at this point. Oh, by the way, they're down by 9 right now in the second quarter. We're keeping an eye on it here for you. But then, oh, by the way, your 2 series that are even. I got to tell you, thank you to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I had that series going 7. It could go 7 now with how they played in the last few games. And that series, well, think about this. Russell Westbrook has still yet to return. We just continue to wait. James Harden's out there with the solo mission right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got the ball. And I'm going to tell you, the last few games, and I don't see how this is possible, but at the tail end of games, James Harden, he doesn't look quite right. The jump shot late in the game, it looks like he's somewhat fatigued. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you're fatigued this early, but that's just the sense I get when I watch him. And the young man, Lou Dort, has done a really good job on him. And we talked about, we was like, who can guard James Harden? And we were talking about Andre Roberson. Well, Lou Dort's out there and doing a fine job on him. And then their 3-guard lineup with CP3, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and my Lord, Dennis Schroeder has been an absolute stud. And he is a much improved basketball player from his time in Atlanta. And when I watched him in Atlanta, he was always exceptional getting to the basket. But I thought you could make you could defend him if you just made it a point to make him shoot jump shots. That he wasn't a good enough shooter from my estimation. He's an improved shooter. You can't just leave him now and just protect the rim. So he is an absolute problem. Those other 2 guards as well. And they're tough. I mean, Billy Donovan, got to give him credit. Exceptional job. And that series could go the distance. I think Game 5 is a must-win for Houston. I really do. And then last but not least, Mavericks Clippers. This has been a fascinating series. I think it's been the most entertaining series.
Oh, yeah.
Luka Doncic has arrived, folks. I'm of the mindset, and I've been saying this past couple of days. And you know I'm not big on overreactions. I'm pretty measured when I give lists.
Mm-hmm.
But LeBron, Giannis, KD, and Kawhi, I think they're pretty solid in there as top 5 players. To me, I think 5 is debatable. I think you could go Harden, you could go AD perhaps. I got Luka Doncic right now. I mean, I'm sold. I don't know what else you could do. His Game 4 performance, you go 43, 17, and 13 maybe. Ridiculous
Game
stat
winner.
line. Efficient, 18 for 31. And the thing people want to knock him on is his perimeter shooting. I have made the point that I don't expect his perimeter shooting to be all that elite because all of his shots are created by himself off the dribble. So that's going to compromise your shooting percentage, your 3-point shooting percentage to some degree. And he goes 4 for 10 and he hits, just this tremendous 3-point buzzer beater to win the game. No Porzingis in that game. And I'm not going to say it's all Luka. It certainly wasn't because we got to think about guys like Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway, and Trey Burke has been fantastic as well. But the Clippers just strike me. They're just a little inconsistent. It's almost – I think they're the most talented team in the NBA. And it's almost like they know they are. And they just think they can get away with lackluster effort at times and attention to detail. And their defensive intensity is just – they have the talent to be the best defensive team. When you think about Paul George, Kawhi, Marcus Morris. We know Beverly's been in and out. But there's just too much talent on that defense. And they're just not getting it done. And then we get to the point where Kawhi's been great. Kawhi's been consistent. The perimeter shot hasn't been quite as consistent as we like, but he's been there. You know what you're getting from him. Can we get Paul George? Paul George has been horrible the past 3 games. That Game 4 performance, he was absolutely atrocious. He was 3 for 14. He was a joke. Paul George is a top 10 talent in this league, and he embarrassed himself. And all this stuff about going to social media and crying like fans are oppressing you, please stop. Go out there and perform. We cannot accept this level of performance. And you're not even no one's even asking you to lead a team. You led some teams in Indiana. It was pretty good. Then you had the injury. Then you go to OKC and you're the number 2 to Westbrook. You get kicked out of the first round last year. Now you're the number 2 to Kawhi, who we know Kawhi is going to lead by example. We ain't gonna see him say much, but he's leading. He does it. You don't have to be great, but you got to be somewhat serviceable. I mean, think about it. Kawhi does his thing. Lou Williams drops 36, something ridiculous in game 4. He was great.
The great whole series.
Paul George gives you 9 points. I mean, it's terrible. And then Montrezl Harrell is another guy. Montrezl Harrell has not performed well either. I don't know if he's just still getting acclimated. He didn't play. He had that long layoff where he left the bubble for a family thing, I believe it was. But Montrezl Harrell hasn't been good either. So those two guys, I'm looking at them. They got to step up tonight. I think Paul George will. I think we'll get. I can't imagine we get 4 straight dud performances by Paul George. Mm-hmm. But eventually, I think Montrezl Harrell gets it going. And I also think this, and I've been talking about this the last couple of games. At some point, Kawhi Leonard has to guard Luka. At the beginning, he's got to take on that challenge. And just now, whatever happens off the screen, if you have to switch, that's fine. But at the beginning of possessions, Kawhi needs to be the one to guard Luka at some point. I mean, because late in game 4 in regulation, they had several possessions where Kawhi was the defender, and he did a fine job. He can handle Luka Doncic. He may not stop him cold, but he can slow him down and he can give him problems. They have to do that at some point.
Yeah, I'll start with that series, to add on what you've been saying, and you summed it up quite well. I mean, it's the meteoric trajectory of Luka Doncic. I mean, he legitimately is on a GOAT trajectory. Like, if you consider he just turned 21 and what he's doing right now, my God, if he stays healthy and these Dallas teams stay pretty good for a while, Dallas has their franchise cornerstone. I mean, one just retired, and they got another one right away. I mean, some teams they get the breaks, man. I don't know what to say. But what an effort he's put in without Porzingis. Game 4, I mean, as soon as Porzingis was rolled out, you had to think, all right, well, nice try, Mavs, great job, but it ain't happening. And these Luka just said, yeah, okay, hold my, I'm not 21 yet, beer, and watch this, and what was really striking to me about that game, the Mavericks have had a really bad penchant this year for losing close games. They have been in a ton of overtime games, and they have almost always came out on the wrong side. Just bad stop here, a brick shot there, and Luka cold-blooded knocked that shot down. But like you said, why is Reggie Jackson guarding him at the end of that game? Jackson was fine. I mean, it was pretty decent defense, all things considered. I mean, it was a hell of a shot. But why is Kawhi not out there? And the Clippers should take a lesson from the Kawhi playbook that the Raptors had last year. They were struggling against Milwaukee last year. They were in danger of losing. And then they said, hey, Kawhi, we got to turn you loose on defense, man. You got to go do the thing, and someone else has got to step up. About, I don't know, like maybe old PG 13% can step up. Like he's paid to do so. and this is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, and you have a bad game. It is what it is, man, even 1 or 2. But this is getting ridiculous. You are a way better player than this. I think he knows that. I mean, I don't think he's doing it on purpose or anything. But this is – at some point you got to say, all right, Kawhi, man, you got to dial it back on offense. We need you on defense. And everyone else, y'all got to step up. I mean, I'm getting good production from Lou Williams, some of these other guys. We got to get this rolling again. Morris, we'll need you to start putting in some good efforts, and we'll need Beverly to knock off whatever he's going on. And I think some of Beverly being in and out, a little banged up, but I think too there's a matchup problem because he can guard Luka, but I think that gives Luka an easy out on defense. And the Clippers don't want to do that. So I think that they're trying to balance that out where they're getting a profit on, guarding Luka, and they don't have it. And Kawhi's the only person that can give it to you, slowing Luka down and still giving you something on offense. So that's a very interesting series. And the Dallas Mavericks with that win have made it to where it's actually a concern the Clippers could lose. And I don't think they're going to. I think Paul George, like you said, I think he, eventually comes around and they put that game away, series away in 7 or maybe even 6. But with Porzingis still hurt, but man, that's been the best series so far.
And real quick, just to jump in, Porzingis is out tonight for Game 5, and also I just want to get this idea out the way. This idea that if you turn Kawhi loose defensively on Luka, and that he's just not going to perform offensively, that's a myth. Kawhi is perfectly capable of giving you lockdown defense on the best player and still giving you his usual efficient offense on the other end. It may not be quite the 35-point outburst, but he's still that dude. But think about this. Kawhi Leonard is the closest thing to Kobe Bryant in today's game. When you think about the word assassin, that's Kawhi Leonard. He can, and we know defensively that is his primary calling card. But think about what he did to Toronto last season. I mean, the Raptors were on the brink, and we were very unsure if they'd make it. And then Milwaukee's up 2-0. And then, Golden State, Golden State, they're Golden State. He accepted every challenge and came up big. I think he comes up big again tonight and in this series. And yeah, I think the Clippers win in 6. I really do.
Yeah, he can still be considered the second best player in the world, and Kawhi Leonard should not have to score 40 points on this Clippers team for you to win. So someone else, hey, let's get to it. Real quick, the sweep teams, hey, congratulations, good stuff. Boston took care of business, put a team away that they should have taken care of. The Miami Heat, young team, Bam Adebayo had a great series. Tyler Herro was fearless in his first playoff action. Jimmy Butler got those guys playing great ball. I'm not going to give Toronto too much credit for taking care of the Nets. Well, they quit after the Portland game, but is what it is. Good stuff there. We know the Bucks and the Lakers are going to stomp the life out of their opponents and close those games out. I mean, no Damian Lillard game 5 for the Blazers. That dream that has sailed. Charles Barkley, sorry, man, but hey, it just is what it is.
Woo!
And the last thing, I'll leave us with is you covered the OKC West, Houston series pretty well, but I would say that my Nuggets sweep prediction, that's on life support at this hour. I think I might have to reconsider and eat some crow. And with the way Donovan Mitchell's played, I'll happily do it. This man, his averages in per 36 are ridiculous. 39.8 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and he's shooting 56% from the field, 51% from 3, and 95% from the stripe. It's ridiculous. I mean, there is no other words to describe it. And what's really interesting about Mitchell is last year in the playoffs, he didn't do this. Remember the first year, he had in his rookie year, he had a couple games where we were like, holy crap, this guy could be the next thing, And then last year, he had a nice campaign, but he didn't show up very much in the playoffs. He had like 20 points a game. Like, he did his thing, but there was no extra put into it, right? And it kind of, they got bounced in the first round. It was whatever. Well, he's at 2 50-point games already, and he's invariably going to come back to earth. And I think as soon as he does, so do the Jazz. But, I mean, if the Utah Jazz had any question, if they had a number one player on their team, if they had a guy that could be the one, it's been answered. I mean, Donovan Mitchell has proven in this series, yes, I can be your number one. If you put a team around me, I can take you pretty far, if not all the way. And I think we both agree that the Jazz are not that formidable outside of what Mitchell's doing, especially in the current makeup. But yet he's taking this Denver team to the brink, and he might absolutely just put them away tonight. So by the time we finish recording, that game will be over, but we'll see how it goes. And, for Denver, man, like you said, it's a defensive effort. Murray had 50, Jokic had 29. The role players did their thing. They hit 17 threes. You shouldn't lose games if you're Denver and you do all those things. I mean, Mitchell ascended to another level or not. You can't do that. But he's been a great asset, and he's been infectious for these guys like Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson. So good stuff. And we'll see if they can take care of business tonight against Denver and put them away.